Yeah, okay, we are bringing it back to Jason back up in Boston. And take it away. You went out and got your video, and we did your first part here of the clip. We did our smog. What happened when you threw it on the dyno, brother?
Yeah, we had some really cool results. So I'm going to show you what this guy looks like here, and let's see if we can get this on here. Well, you guys can see it. Okay, so what we have here, it's a little bit tough to see, but we have two sets of data. The one on the bottom is your horsepower distribution, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but the max. There's for each of those, there's two different tests.
Yep.
So you have the before, which is the two lines on the bottom, and then you have directly on top of that, you have, so right here, you have the before, and then right above is the after. And so our before max, and this is the new 2015 Harley with 0 miles on it.
Just out of the factory.
Literally. And we ran it for 5 minutes, and then we did these tests. And the max for the baseline was 68, horsepower of 68. The max after that was 73. So literally an increase of almost 8% in 5 minutes with the technology on there versus not. The top set of lines you see is the torque, and that the max before was 84 and the max after was 89. So we literally have an increase of 6%. Again, this is after 5 minutes with the technology on with a brand new vehicle or a brand new Harley-Davidson. So we were really stoked. They were super excited to get an increase like that. If you put that into perspective for other parts, it costs literally thousands of dollars to do anything close to this to increase the horsepower. So it's really pretty special. So they were super excited about that. I also have the old bike to show you, and we had similar results from the old bike. And what's surprising is that to have that was again after 5 minutes, and this has 0 miles on it. Well, this other bike, here to show you.
There we go.
That's the evaluation report. So, and give you guys the whole view here. It gives some data points down here. It actually, I'll show you the second page too. What it does is it shows the conditions. It tells you what the humidity was, the temperature at which it was done, and a bunch of other things on here.
Heavy data.
So there's a lot of data, and which is great. Provides some credibility. And so this is basically set up the same way. And what you're seeing here is the lower set of lines. There's 2 tests, and then it's repeated, and they're just above the new test. Of course, it's higher, right? So then with the technology, or actually, I'm sorry, the baseline for horsepower was the highest was 58. We increased it to 63, another increase of just over 8%. And for torque, the baseline was 77, we increased it to 80. So just over a 2% increase on the torque. So for both the new and the old bike, increases in horsepower of 8%, which again, epic. And increases of torque, the new bike was 6%, the old bike was 2%. So again, they were really happy. And we were stoked to have this sort of data in this format. So yeah, really happy. Super cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, little things.
Absolutely.
Tiny hologram things.
I want to show you the emissions, just the print-offs I have here, the before and after. So the before is on top here. See if I can get that for you. So hydrocarbons. We were at 413 for hydrocarbons.
11.
And literally this is at
52 knocks. Okay, got it.
That's at idle. This is it after. That is in after 7 minutes. 234 and 45.
Let's go back up.
Or 13, 25.
Dropped 20% from 50 to 40.
Yep.
That's 5 minutes. We got hydrocarbon from 232, almost half from 413.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, that's sort of average idle right there.
Yeah.
And again, this is only after 7 minutes.
Right.
All was taken.
We haven't had an oil change. We haven't had it run for a few tanks. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And normally with these tests, we do a lot longer, and we can basically bring that down, especially the hydrocarbon. We'll bring that down to close to 0 in a really short period of time, like 30 minutes. We didn't feel like sitting there for 30 minutes, so we already knew, based on what we saw in 7 minutes, that we were in good shape there, and it was working. So
If I mean, you're doing a dyno back to back in ideal conditions on the same engine, the numbers would be identical.
Yeah.
You couldn't have a fluctuation. A variance of 8%, highly unlikely.
No.
And then repeated the test, highly unlikely on a new versus a old. You also have another piece of data there that I'd like to point out that's really quite intriguing here. We have a 3,000 mile Harley-Davidson numbers, and we have a brand new Harley-Davidson number. Now, what's interesting is we can keep the brand new Harley-Davidson in pristine manufacturer state, and at 3,000 miles, it will still be blowing a 0. So it shows that there is no toxic buildup that will accumulate inside your engine, and running your engine completely clean all 3,000 miles is going to continue to increase the horsepower, torque, and fuel economy. There's a lot of hidden things there that I like seeing with a brand new out of the box crate motor.
Yeah, they were excited to do the new bike, just to see how it would react, and being that's new for us as well. It was
Cool.
They were really, like everybody, they're surprised when they see that it's a sticker on a hologram on a sticker and what it can do. And then after they saw the results, and they all wanted them for their bikes. So we set them up with some holograms over there for all their personal bikes, and they're excited.
Now you have this is the family, and they have just a bunch of Harley-Davidson shops across the country.
Yeah, so these guys own 4 different ones, and they're in the middle of purchasing their 5th.
Perfect.
They're around a lot of bikes, and they've been racing. Both my cousins have been racing motorcycles since they were 5 and 6 years old. So familiar with that, and how difficult it is to get any sort of improvement in horsepower. It just doesn't happen.
Magically, yeah, without the use of the Harry Potter wand, yeah, it's a lot of times pretty hard.
Yeah, especially within that short period of time. It's not. I mean, you spend thousands of dollars shipping your engine across the country and having it poured out and having, a lot of different things.
All right, that just inspired us. I mean, right there. Okay, take the challenge. Okay, if you think you can increase horsepower faster than us, ready, set, go. Okay, while you guys are fumbling through your toolbox looking for all kinds of things you're going to change on this motor, we got, what is that? Is that cleaning solution that they're rubbing back and forth on the tank? Oh wow, these guys don't have a chance. They're polishing the car the engine before they even try to increase the horsepower. What's going on here? And then we put on our hologram. The dyno, meanwhile, is still running live, and we just take a 5-minute challenge and see if we can't increase 10% with your horsepower.
Hey, I'm gonna,
How great of a mechanic are you? Are you going to go adjust that carburetor to get 10% more juice out of that engine?
hey guys, I gotta jump, but I'll video tomorrow. We'll do 1 or 2 cars with the magic wand here.
Yeah, you had some things happen down there. I sent you a text here tonight. I look forward to hearing how those are in the morning. Those numbers that you sent me were pretty high on a Jenny, so those are probably pretty accurate.
Okay.
Andrew, it was good to meet you. I look forward to looking up your research and what you've got going on too, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
All right.
Andrew. And hey, since we have you there on the cam, see, you guys went through 10 text messages over the weekend?
Yeah, well, they're the actual hologram is what I used, but we used them on 10 different cars. I had 9 in Houston, 1 last night with our buddy Rico, and every one of them, the same method. You leave it. I left it on there for about 3 to 5 minutes. Then I ran the car for a while, about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I ran it up idle for a bit. Then it started to spit out the moisture, and you can see the steam coming off of it. Really thick last night, especially. And then after about another 2 to 3 minutes, you get your face right down in it, and you do not smell any kind of carbon release. It's insane how it works. But yeah, people's faces. I like seeing people's faces when they come up from that muffler, and they're awestricken. They don't know what to say. And then I can go about with some of the background knowledge that I have in terms of quantum mechanics and physics. We try to explain it to them in a way that they can understand, which I usually use a Robitussin kind of analogy, that if you could take the active ingredient in something and basically replicate that its chemical structure and project that chemical structure into the body's going to have the same kind of response, or whatever is going to have the same kind of response as if the ingredient was there and present in the system. And then I also gave the when you talk about the 100, and it was for instance, what you say, let's say I have an omega 100 wave, and I take the opposite of that, the minus 100 omega, or omega 100 wave. What it does is it renders that particular wave inert, and it basically implodes. And then, you know, what I was talking to you about, Ruth B, and her rate system with her machine. It's right now, I believe it's called a radionic machine. And how she was able to do that. She could determine a particular rate for organs within the body. For anything has its own rate. And it doesn't matter if you have a row of 50 different humans, the rate for the organ development is the same, because it's the amino acid and the buildup that's building up with the proteins, that particular organ. It's kind of the language of the DNA, how the DNA communicates this particular rate. That's the structure that's built. And you also really, if you wanted to pull in Hans Jenny's cymatics, and because it's tonal, you know, with the hologram, it's projecting not necessarily the image only visually, but it's a sound wave that it's projecting. And I heard you talk about that, Thunder, whenever you're saying, you know, I went to go buy a pack of smokes when I crossed the street from the FDA, laid that card down, and I saw that dove on there, and I wondered what a hologram would sound like for sound. So that just called into right now. I hadn't thought about it before, but right now it calls into to memory that Hans Jenny experiment with cymatics and the structure that's created when he plays sound frequencies to different forms of matter, like lycopodium, sand colloids, this kind of thing. It's really neat, to say the least, man.
And you guys are a couple of exceptionally brilliant people. You know, I appreciate you guys' feedbacks. I mean, if you could, Jason, you haven't got to see this. We might have a nice little gift for the chairman of Harley-Davidson. Show him that chip. This is something that we're also.
Did you see it a second ago when I was showing?
If you don't mind, it is so beautiful.
Wow. That's cool.
Okay. Now that thing's gonna be, that's like a street bazooka. That's gonna be blasting antitoxins for cars like in mall parking lots. Just every car would be gone with pollution.
Awesome.
With that thing.
I wonder if we could collect our carbon credits.
Well, at airports and malls and parking garages, We'll just park your car here and we'll just take a picture as it left. That's all.
Yeah, Jay and I were talking just a little while ago. If this is the effect on a Harley, also cars that hit the drag and are doing trying to run quarter miles, how that would increase horsepower with them. It'd be interesting to see that as well.
This guy might know a thing or two about torque racing. Jason, let's take a second off our quarter mile out of our factory stock Harley. How much are we looking at for that around? Just a second. Just take 1 second off the quarter mile there. What are we looking at about a good, depending on the mechanic, I'm going to say a second. Yeah, you better drop about 4,800 to around 6,500.
Yeah, for a second, probably a lot more than that, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, the cost for that.
That's a lot to account for in a short amount of time with speed, velocity. Yeah, yeah.
We're currently, there's a test. I'm not sure where it's at right now, but we have a test going on in Wisconsin from a they have the semi drags basically, and so it's semi trucks that are racing, and so we're going to be testing one of those on a dyno soon here. So hopefully I can share some video with you on that.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see too, man.
So we're gonna take a top fuel funny semi dragster. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Because we all want to know how fast we can get a semi down a quarter mile strip. Now I've been behind a few semis in my day, getting on some of the freeways, which is close to a quarter mile.
And you want them. Most definitely to have some top fuel and some increase.
Now just that is, I'm going to say around 40 seconds to be hitting, 70 miles an hour. Okay.
Down here in Texas, that top fuel drag stuff is big industry, man. They got guys down here that love that.
What
especially in Houston
of an engine and what kind of timeline are we looking at a quarter mile in semis? Do you have any idea?
I'm not sure. I know those things are fast. They are some of the coolest looking trucks too. They're pimped out.
Yeah. He's got half stacks on them and blowers out of the side. Or mufflers out of the side, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's well done.
The reason I ask is because here's one thing that is for, you tested a 59, 69 horsepower, small engines today. Here's the most important thing about this technology that I've noticed over the years. The larger the engine, the better this thing performs. If you got a 4-cylinder, you're not going to get this torque and horsepower jump like you are in a Viper engine. In a NASCAR engine. And if you're going to be pushing, hopefully in the 1,500 to 2,000 horsepower range is where I'm hoping this semi is going to be, or more. You do a 10% jump in horsepower on 1,500 horse. That's a new Mercury outboard engine on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
And 150 Mercury horsepower engine on a boat is a goddamn lot of power out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's
right. Jason, that was an epic day. Keith, you made it out. You made it home safely here before we wrap up on this first night edition of
Yeah. What's up, man? It's like he was floating.
I made it, brother.
You
I like that what you got around your neck there.
That's the Merkaba with the golden eagle on it.
Yeah, is that what that is? That's cool, man. On the flip side, I dig it.
Those are made in India. They're handmade glass with sterling silver, and then got that on it. All good.
Yeah.
Goods right there. So, yeah, real quick, a chance to spend a few days here on his way up to Boston. Just arrived there in Boston today. He left AC here this morning. Trip was good. Your hybrid vehicle, which has been on the road now almost 4,000 miles in the last month.
Maybe more.
Okay. What was our baseline average gas mileage since you acquired the vehicle up until you applied the chip?
24.2 was an average in town and out.
It's a hybrid vehicle. This is a Ford Escape two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Four-cylinder.
And this is my third oil change I did right before the trip, and I'm up in the 30.1. So depending if it's all highway driving or if it's a lot of in town, but about 22% increase.
You're logging around a 900-pound lithium-ion battery that we run electric every so often.
Right. Which only runs electric under 25 miles an hour, and if you don't gas it hard.
Now, when you are in gas, because a lot of people complain in the hybrid, that torque, the takeoff, it's kind of a Sunday pooch cream puff that grandma has. You're not turning over tires. It's hybrid they're not, you're not winning quarter miles. Please do not put your pink slip up if you have a hybrid. It's not a good idea. What did you notice about your the acceleration and the torque and the pickup?
Yeah, acceleration. Sometimes what's funny about the hybrids, when you're at a zero at a stoplight and you gas it, it doesn't know whether to try to use the battery or not. So if you hit it all the way, it'll think you want battery, and then it'll kick into the gas, and so it's hard to beat somebody off the line. But once that thing's going about 30 miles an hour, and between 30 and 80, it's performing as well as any car I've ever had. Any V6, lighter vehicle, it really accelerates from that mid-range, and that it did not do that before. It felt like you had 3 extra people in the car with that 850-pound battery. It was sluggish around corners and up hills, and that it doesn't feel like there's an extra battery in that car now. It's you'd think it was just a little Escape V6.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Another thing that I also got from a lot of the hybrid owners, and when I let them know this, they didn't know how to take it. But I remember the first time I told you, I go, "Oh, hybrid, yeah, they pollute our environment more." And you were laughing at me, and you were almost like, "How do you figure?" But yeah, it's mathematically correct. Your hybrid vehicle is getting better mileage. That I'm not going to dismiss. But I am going to argue with anybody all day that the fact is you will produce more pollution. The pollution is coming from the time that it takes for the catalytic converter to heat up, which has to be 2,500 degrees. And when you go from electric to a cold engine and that gas is going on, you are contributing to, versus a engine that's always running with a hot cat, you're going to have lower emissions.
Yeah, that's news that a lot of my friends from Santa Monica, California wouldn't like to hear. That are dropping $40,000 to $50,000 on hybrids.
Right. I'm not against hybrids. I don't think they should be unleaded. I think they should be diesel because there's more torque and more power to recharge the battery. And since we can take diesel without a catalytic converter to a zero emissions, no sense in unleads.
Yeah.
And hybrids don't fit together. So, hey everyone, thanks. I know we can sit down and we do this for hours on end. This is a fun little evening, a regular sandbox sign of the times to come. Man, we're in a fun environment here. Thanks everyone tonight. And keep coming back and keep posted. We had a quite an eclectic crowd tonight. That's what I love about the sandbox.
You're right.
Bring your kind toys. And oh yeah, mean kids, you can't come in.
Not allowed.
Good night.
Hey, Keith, Jason, good night, you two. Thunder, we'll talk to you soon. Good night, brother. Y'all be easy, man. We'll see you.
Take care.
Nice to meet you guys.
Bye.